First of all, I want to start off by saying Barakathon, Yahweh Bashin Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well. And shout out to the whole flesh, start with the 144,000 Shalom. Right. So before I get into it, I wanted to get the lesson done earlier, but I had went and worked out and such at the train. So Lord willing, I knew I was going to get it done, but Lord willing, we're here now. So I was watching Elder Pastor Gabar lesson earlier, right? He had quoted Lamentations 2:15, talking about how, how the nation, they were happy and, they were rejoicing at how we were brought down. They said that such. And that's why, our the curses that were put upon us going to go upon them, right, Lord willing, right? But, so in a sense, it's like, I was hearing somebody walking upstairs. To make sure they don't interrupt. But so in a sense, all right. So in a sense, right. I went and read. I went and read. On the way to workout, I went and read Lamentations 1. Right. Later on, Lord willing, read more chapters in it. I'm gonna read the book of Lamentations, finish it. But as I was reading Lamentations 1, the Spirit hit me. And the first thing that came of, the title lesson is you have grieved Jerusalem, right? And because Lamentations 1, right, which I'm gonna be back and forth from the NLT and the KJV, but it's talking about how Jerusalem fell, right? With you got the Romans coming in, you got the Romans, right, coming over, and you got the Babylonians who came in, who rebuilt the temple, and then you got the Romans who come in, and destroy it, right? And we've been in captivity, kind of ever since, for real, and so, well, we'll start at verse 1, right? And we're gonna jump down. We're gonna jump around. I got some precepts in mind that I'm gonna bring out because when you see it come to a sense, when we get back into our homeland, right, we're gonna be back into our righteous state. We're gonna be back into our rulership, right? We're gonna get back in our position which we were in, right? And understanding that we got into that position, we got into position now by going off, right? A lot of people are lost and fall out the ways of the heathen and don't know who, Yahweh Shah is. Matter of fact, quick precept. I think that's Isaiah. I don't know if I know what it is. The book of Isaiah 1. Right? Book of Isaiah 1, and I'm starting at verse 2. Right? It says, "Hear, O heavens, and give, O earth. Give ear, O earth, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children that have rebelled against me." Right? It's also we think about Jeremiah 2, right? 20 and on down, right? Talking about, we was that noble vine, right? But we made ourselves degenerates, man. We made ourselves degenerates, right? Like a bit of, it's plain. We made ourselves, we made ourselves in the bad sight of the Most High by going off, falling out the ways of the nation, doing all these things, right? You feel me? It says rebelled against me. We rebelled against the Most High. We discontinued from the laws and statutes. We did a lot of things that went against what He set for us to do, right? It says the ox knows his owner and the ass his master's crib, but Israel do not know. My people do not consider, right? You see that today, man. Israel go off in all type of ways, right? They go off in these other philosophies, other doctrines that let them live and do whatever they want. But that's not how Yahweh set for us to be. The Heavenly Father set a way for us to live and go about things, and our people just feel like they can go out here and do what they want and go off, do whatever, right? They do not consider what He set for us to do. Right, He says a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, that have forsaken the Lord, that have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger, that are going away backward, right? That have provoked Him into anger, man, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring this out, right? Actually, just goes in with it, right? I'm gonna keep reading on down, right? He says, "Why would you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even to the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises, putrefying putrefying sores, they have not been closed. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate, right? Jerusalem, your cities are burned with fire, your land strangers devour in your presence, and is desolate as overthrown by strangers, right? And I say, as you seen, I brought it in my notes earlier, right? The land full of fake, a land full of fake Jews, right? We got pushed out 70 AD by the Romans, right? You see over there today, they got all those the quote unquote Jewish people, man, right? And they got them over there, right? They gave them that land, what it was, 1948, right? They gave them that land, right? For, you know, and they put those fake people over there, and that's who they think who the Jews are. But that's our land, Jerusalem, man. That's our place, which we're gonna get back, Lord willing, which we're gonna get to, right? But we have grieved Jerusalem, man. We have grieved Jerusalem, man, right? That's what we're gonna get to, Lord willing. I read it again, Isaiah 1:7. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land strangers devour it, in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers, man. It's overthrown by strangers, right? So, going right here, Lamentations 1, right? And I start at verse 1 in NLT, right? I'm going to jump back and forth, right? And it says, Jerusalem once so full of people, right? Us, Israelites, right? Yeah, North Jerusalem, you got South Jerusalem, right? Full of the Israelites, man, right? Excuse the notification, Slaki, right? It says, she was once great among the nations, now sits alone like a widow. Once the queen of all earth, she is now a slave, man, right? Once queen of all earth, right? But now it's land desolate. We not anywhere. It was took over. Burn. The Romans came through. And tore it up, man. The Romans came through and tore it up. And now you got those fake Jews over there. You got strangers in our land right now. Doing whatever they want. Going to war over there, things of that nature, right? You got things going on now that you see it daily, right? You got those the Jews over there doing whatever they want, right? You can't say nothing against them. You can't speak against them, none of that thing, right? They try to make them seem like they're the holy one. But in reality, Jerusalem, our land, was took from us 70 AD, right? Our land was took from us, and they placed them there. And it was once full of people, right? As we're going to keep reading, right? It says, she sobs through the night, tears stream down her cheeks. Among all her lovers, there is none left. There was no one left to comfort her. All her friends have betrayed her and become her enemies. Judah has been led away into captivity, oppressed with cruel slavery. She lives among foreign nations, right? Us being brought over here to captivity, right? And they put up people over there like they're the chosen people. But as I was saying earlier, right? She lives among foreign nations and have no place of rest. Her enemies have chased her down, and she has nowhere to turn. Right? It says the roads to Jerusalem are in mourning, for crowds no longer come to celebrate the festivals. Right? You had the Passover, things of that nature. Right? With our nation, our nation true holidays. Right? You know what I'm saying? The high holy days, things of that nature. Right? But it says the city gates are silent. High priests groan. Her young women are crying. Now bitter is her fate. Was what it said, right? Her oppressors have become her masters, man. Right? These Romans come over there and they come over there doing whatever they want, right? And I was watching the lesson, with the the elders, right? They was going into the 12th season. They was talking about how Vespasian coming to the temple, taking the gold, taking all type of things, right? Which we're gonna read, right? It says her enemies prospered, for the Lord Yahweh has punished Jerusalem, right? You got to think. Yahweh was telling them this, man. Yahweh was telling them this, man. Our people going off there in nature, they totally gonna get right, because it's a fate coming, man. It's a fate coming. Let me see. I want to go to Luke 23, and I'm also go to Daniel 9. I'm going to go to Luke 23. And let me see. Right, and I'm writing notes on, let me see. I would just read verse 29, right? Luke 23 and 29, right? It says, for behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bear, and the paths which never gave suck, right? And so it shows how severe this time period was during the Flavian dynasty, where it was Vespasian, Titus, Domitian, right? It goes into the 12 seasons, 12 feathers, right? It says Jacob's being starved out, eating and doing all the above, right? They starved Jake out, cut the water access off and all type of thing, right? Because they knew they was gonna come in and take over. Because you gotta think, Jerusalem was guarded, man. Jerusalem was the queen of all. We know how people was guarded, right? It said they should begin to say to the mountains, follow us, and to the hills, cover us. Right? I got right here in my notes, right? The people don't even know they're gonna bear witness to a lot of death, right? Doing any and everything to try and make themselves feel good. They gonna eat kids and all type of things, right? And that's going to the time. That's going and that's going into the time was coming. Right, that's going into the time was coming. But you gotta think, the thing ain't nothing new under the sun. This happened to our people before, right? When the Romans came, right? But the point was really in verse 29, right? With the things that they was going to, right? Because it's like I read verse 28 to really get the point across, right? It says, but Yahushua turning to them and said, daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children, right? Because he let them know, man, the days are coming, right? So I'm also go down to Daniel 9, and let's see. So I see where I'm gonna start. Yeah, Con. Right here, Daniel 9, I'm starting at verse 11, right? And it says, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, Deuteronomy 28, right? Because we have sinned against him. It's like the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him, right? He hath confirmed his word, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us by bringing upon us a great evil, right? That great evil, what? The Romans coming in, and it was bad, catastrophic, man. Millions of Jews died. A lot of them fled. What you got? You had millions of Israel dying, being many of them died, and got tied in the tossed into captivity, but you had a lot of them that got away as well, to the West Africa, things of that nature, right on that borderline of the river, like how the elder was saying, right? And then that's where you go into where we start getting transported over here into slavery, right? But the point right here, right, it says, for under the whole earth have not, for under the whole heaven have not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem, man. So this when it come in, right? It's a great evil that's going to come, man. It's by breaking the great evil. Why? Because our people went off. That great evil is the Romans coming and they came and destroy. They came to destroy. It's like they came to destroy Jerusalem, man. Right? Came to destroy it. Took it down. Took all the gold. Took all the things. Right? We're gonna continue to read. Right? uh, Start right here, verse 5. Her oppressors have become her masters, and her enemies prosper, for the Lord has punished Jerusalem for her many sins. People was going off, man. He said her children have been captured and taken away into distant lands, right? That us going into West Africa, fleeing all over, right? That's when our people. That's when that falling away started happening too, man. Falling away started happening. People going off, right? Then what's happening? Moving. Now we transport on ships over here to America, into captivity, into slavery, right? As we read right here in NLT, right? It's like in the KJV, right? It says her adversaries, right? Those are the enemies, are the chief. Her enemies prosper, for the Lord Yahweh hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions, which is sin. Her children are going away into captivity before the enemy. Back in the NLT, right? It says, all the majesty of the beautiful Jerusalem has been stripped away. Her princes are starving like deer searching for pasture. They're too weak to run from the pursuing enemy. And a lot of them got away, but a lot of them did. You got that they were starving. They were starving Israel because Rome was coming up. Rome was big at this time, man. Rome was powerful at this time. That's why it says Daniel 2, right? It's like, bear with me. This kingdom come up with iron because they was using iron. They made them strong. They was using iron weapons, things of that nature made them strong, right? But they knew they had to make Jerusalem weak, right? They knew they had to make Jerusalem weak to come in there. So they starving them. Things of that nature, right? Cutting off the water pass, all type of things they was doing to make Jerusalem weak, right? Right here, I'm gonna read Daniel 2. Right here. Daniel 2 and 40, right? It says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, which is the fourth kingdom, what? Which is the Roman, right? The Roman Empire. I got it right here in my notes, right? The fourth kingdom, the ancient Roman Empire, right? It says, shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, so do all things, and iron that breaketh all these shall it break in piece and bruise, right? Bring my notes out, right? It says, the reason Roman Empire was so strong because they had weapons made out of iron. Back then, the Roman army was going to break into pieces any nation that came against. And it's prophecy, though. For one, the Most High put them in that position, right? It was prophecy that had to be fulfilled, man, right? So going back to limitation, right? He says, all the majesty of beautiful Jerusalem has been stripped away. Her princes are like starving deer searching for pasture. They are too weak to run from the pursuing enemy, which is the Romans coming in. People starving, things of that nature, right? Like we read in Luke 23, right? It said, in the midst of her sadness and wandering, Jerusalem remember her ancient splendor, but now she has fallen to her enemy, right? Which is the Edomites, man, Romans, right? And there is no one to help her. Her enemy struck her down and laughed as she fell. Jerusalem has sinned greatly, so she has been tossed away like a filthy rag. All who once honored her now despise her, for they have seen her stripped naked and humiliated. All she can do is groan and hide her face. She defiled herself with immortality and gave no thought to her future, as you read Isaiah 1. Right, our people was going out, people going outside, doing all these things, right? So the Most High got angry and brought that great evil upon her, right? Now she lies in the gutter with no one to lift her out. Lord, see my misery, she cries. The enemy has triumphed. The enemy became big, right? And let me see. I really want to get to a certain part. Slakia, bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, right here, I'm jumping down to verse 18. Right, it says, the Lord is right. Actually, matter of fact, bear with me. I might go back up. Matter of fact, we just read the whole, we just read it. It's a long chapter, but it's short, it's 22. Right, so, right here, well, we get verse 10, right? It says, the enemy has plundered her completely, taking every precious thing she owns. She has seen foreigners violate her sacred temple, right? When they came into that temple and took over, man. Taking all the things out of the temple, destroying the temple, all that, taking the gold, all that, man. Right? And then once again, what you see what's going on today as well, right? They got them foreigners in our land, right? He said, the place the Lord hath forbidden them to enter. Her people groan as they search for bread. They have sold their treasure for food to stay alive. O Lord, look, she warns, and see how I am despised. Does it mean nothing to you? All you who pass by, look around and see if there's any suffering like mine, which the Lord brought on me when he erupted in fierce anger. Going back to Daniel 9, right? The evil that have not been seen under the heavens, man, it's gonna come upon Jerusalem, right? Most High was tired of all the nigga that was going on there, right? Most High was tired of nigga that was going on there, right? That's gonna lead me to Baruch. Yes, bear with me. Yeah, right. Let's see where I want to start. All right, we'll start at verse 4, right? It says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us, right? Because we got a law of statutes, we got those things. He ain't dealt with no other nation, right? It said, be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved Yahweh to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies, for you provoked him that made you by sacrifice unto the devils and not to Yahweh. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of Yahweh come upon you, she said, hearken, O ye that dwell about Sion, right? Yahweh hath brought upon me great mourning, for I saw the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. With joy I nourished them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning, man. Just as we read right here in Lamentations, right? We have grieved Jerusalem, man, because our people went off, doing all these things, being wicked, things of that nature, right? And our land was taken. Our land was taken. This is what people don't get. This is what they don't understand. Why we were really sent into captivity. Right? We had our own homeland. Right? But it was taken away from us because our people was going off being wicked. Same thing they do today. Right? And it says, let no man rejoice over me, a widow and forsaken of many, who for the sins of my children am left desolate, because they departed from the law of Yahweh, man. You have grieved Jerusalem. We was in the righteous state. We was in a good place, man. Right? Let's see. Let's go back. I'm gonna jump back up. Right? Because you read verse 1, right? It said, Jerusalem, once so full of people, is now deserted. She was once great among all nations, now sit alone like a widow, right? Once the queen of all the earth, she is now a slave, man. She, and it's telling you, right? It's telling you, what else it say? Oh, right, verse 5, her oppressors have become her masters, and enemies prosper, for the Lord Yahweh has punished Jerusalem for her many sins, for the sins that our people committed, going off, worshiping the devil, doing all these contrary things to the law, right? Her children have been captured and taken away to distant land, been taken away into captivity, man. Taken away into captivity, right? That's how we get over here to America today, right? Let me jump back down, right? So going back here, right, it said, verse 13, they knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, or Isaiah 1:9, right? Nor tried in the path of discipline in his righteousness. Let them that dwell about Zion, right? Zion, another way to say Jerusalem, Israel, right? And remember the captivity of my son and daughter, which the everlasting brought upon them. For he hath brought a nation upon them from afar, a shameless nation, right? Who is that? The Edomite, right? A shameless nation of a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity child, right? They came in there slaughtering, right? They came in there slaughtering. They didn't care. They have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters, man. Carried away captive, man, right? That's how we end up over today in this revived Roman Empire, man, right? You got to understand it, man. We grieve Jerusalem, right? But we're going to get back to that state. But let's finish this, though, right? It said, does it mean nothing to you? All you who pass by, look around and see if there's any suffering like mine, which the Lord brought on me when he erupted his fierce anger. He has sent fire from heaven that burns in my bones. He has placed a trap in my path and turned me back. He has left me devastated, a rack with sickness all day long, right? He rolled my sin into rope to hitch me to a yoke of captivity. The Lord sapped my strength and turned me over to my enemies. I am helpless in their hand. And what's that showing you today? Them not the people in their homeland over there today, man. Them our enemies, right? Them our enemies, man. Those Edomites, man. Those fake Jews over there. Them our enemies, man. And the scripture's showing that today, man. But the people, they ain't even know to discern it. But we ain't even know to discern. That's why this elect ones who in the truth, we grieve Jerusalem. That's how we give honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Because we know his power. We know he put us in this position. And we know that he can put us back into the position we was at as well, man. Romans 8:18. For the things we face, rather paraphrasing, for the things we face is not compared to the glory in front of us. What is that glory? The spiritual power, get back into the kingdom. All the things, the promises that Yahweh Shem Shai set for us, we gonna get it back, man. Right? It's out, and that's also what Elder Apostle Gabar was talking about in his lesson 2, 2 Peter 3:13. Right? That promise, the new heavens, right? The promise of the new heavens, new earth, right? Which you can read about in Isaiah. I'll bring both of them out. 2 Peter 3:13, right? It said, nevertheless, we are according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness, right? That's that new Jerusalem, man. New kingdom being built, right? It's why we're going to tear down. When the Lord come back, we're going to punish their ass, tear that shit down. We're going to build, Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shai, we're going to build it up in the likeness of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. We're going to get those phonies out of there, right? Isaiah 65:17, right? And it says, for behold, I create new heavens and new earth. The former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind, man. But ye be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy, man. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard, shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying, man. Right? So it ain't gonna be no more, man. I was reading this right here. When Jerusalem was taken down, we grieve Jerusalem. Ain't gonna be no more. It's gonna be new Jerusalem coming in. Well, let's keep reading on, right, to finish this off. He wove my he wove my sins he wove my sins into ropes to hitch me to a yoke of captivity. The Lord, the Lord Yahweh sapped my strength and turned me over to my enemies. I am helpless in their hands. The Lord has treated my mighty men with competence. And at his command, a great army has come to crush my young warriors, right? As the Romans, right? The Romans were read in Daniel 2:40. They come with the iron weapons, man. They were strong at the time. Right? He said the Lord has trampled his beloved city like grapes and trampled in the wilderness, man. And wine press, right? They came with it, man. They came on it, right? He says, for all these things I weep, tears flowing down my cheeks, right? We weep now, but that ain't gonna be no remembrance of that. We grieve Jerusalem, but we know that promise coming. Right? We gonna get the promise, the glory to come that was set for us, man. Right? It says, no one is here to comfort me, but not now, but when that time comes, Yahweh Shai gonna come, right? And we gonna get it right? Because I comfort now is what? These scriptures understanding and knowing we're gonna get put back into our homeland. We're gonna get put back into our righteous state, right? No one is here to comfort me. Anyone who might encourage me are far away, right? Come on, man. This is plain today. It's stumbling block to the wicked, but plain to the holy, rather paraphrase, right? Holy is simple to the holy, but stumbling block to the wicked, right? Book Sirach 39:24. But watch this, right? He said, for all these things I weep, tears flow down my cheeks. No one is here to comfort me. Anyone who might encourage me are far away. So what does that show you again? Also showing you again, those people in this over there in Israel, it's not the people, that's not their land, man. That's not their land. Jerusalem is grieving because we're not in our homeland. We over here in captivity still, man. That's not their land. These people try to make it seem like they're the Jewish people. Try to make it seem like they're the righteous one. No, that's not their land, right? It says, my children have no future, for the enemies have conquered us. Jerusalem reaches out for help, but no one comforts her. Regarding his people, Israel, the Lord Yahweh has said, let their neighbors be their enemies, let them be thrown away like a filthy rag. The Lord is right. Jerusalem says, for I rebelled against him, as we read Baruch 4, right? But we weren't sold him, but Esau went overboard. Esau went overboard for everything. That's why they're going to get punished. Right? He said, for I rebel against him. Listen, people everywhere, look upon my anguish and despair, for my son's daughter have been taken captive to distant lands. I begged my allies for help, but they betrayed me. My priests and leaders starved to death in the city, even as they search for food to save their lives. Lord, see my anguish. My heart is broken. My soul despairs, for I have rebelled against you. In the streets, the sword kills. At home, there is only one death. Others heard my groans, but no one turned to comfort me. When my enemies heard about my troubles, they were happy to see what you had done. O brain, the day you promised when they will suffer as I have suffered. Come on, man. That's powerful, man. The day you promised, right? Because we know what's going to happen. Esau finna get that judgment, man. They're going to get punished. Just as much they try to be boastful and prideful, hey, people over in that land think they live in holly jolly. Hey, that day coming, man. That righteous indignation, right? That righteous indignation. And this what the Spirit comforts me through this lesson, man. We have grieved Jerusalem. But we're gonna get back into our righteous position. We're gonna get back into our righteous state, man. Right? And read that again, right? It says, others heard my groans, but no one turned to comfort me. When my enemies heard about my troubles, they were happy to see what you had done. Oh, bring the day you promised when they will suffer as I have suffered. Look at all their evil deeds, all the things they got going on over there, the things they even over there doing now, man. Look at them. They over there killing all them kids and all that things over there. And probably they wicked, man. Esau is wicked, man. He said, Lord, punish them as you have punished me for all my sins. My groans are many, and I am sick at heart, right? Right? So that's we have grieved Jerusalem, man. The things we did and going off, right? Got our land took from us, right? But Lord willing, beginning with the elect, the Most High gonna come back and restore our land to us, right? The promise He set for us, right? 2 Peter 3:13, Isaiah 6:5, and 17, right? New Jerusalem gonna be built up, right? And we're gonna destroy all them people over there. Their ass gonna be destroyed, right? As you seen, right? Matter of fact, let me go back to it. As we seen, right, in Lamentations 1:21, others heard my groans, but no one turned to comfort me. When my enemies heard about my troubles, they were happy to see what you had done, right? They were happy to see what being brought down. They was happy to see it, right? Well, that's what He said. Oh, bring the day you promised when they will suffer as I have suffered. They gonna get it too, right? Deuteronomy Deuteronomy 30:7. The curse that's upon us gonna come upon them. Their ass gonna go into captivity. Their ass gonna be. We gonna. Hey, when it's all said and done, the Edomites, we gonna tie their ass up and burn their ass away as well, man. We gonna get rid of their ass, right? All the other nations gonna be in captivity, and they gonna have to live under the ways that they gonna have to live under the laws, commandments that Yahweh Shah said. They gonna have to learn the ways. They gonna have to learn the ways to live under them, right? If they gas go off, we gonna get on their ass as well, man. Right? Because right now we under the laws of Edomites, Esau. But when we get back to our kingdom, we're gonna be the laws and commandments gonna be written in our hearts and minds, man. Right? Which we're gonna get to right here in Revelation, right? In 21, right? And it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea, right? So that new heaven, new earth is talking about the kingdom, right? But the first earth, or the first heaven, or the first earth age, that's when all the different nations rule, and it's gonna be ending with Esau, right? Esau the last ruler, right? Before we come into power, and when we come into power, ain't nobody else coming into power after that, man. Right? Once we come into power, it's over with. All the other nations are gonna be beneath us and serving us, right? For Esau. For Esau was the end of the world, Jacob at the beginning of it that follow, right? Second Ezra chapter 6, man, right? Ain't gonna be no more other nations that come back into power, man. Right? When we come to rulership, it's over with, right? It says, I heard a great voice, Slaka, in verse 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, which is the kingdom, New Jerusalem, right? We have Great Jerusalem, but New Jerusalem coming, man, right? Coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband, right? You know, we're in that marriage with Yahweh Shah, the righteous one, the elect, right? The elect, man, beginning with the elect. You know, you got Yahweh Shah, the beginning of the elect. You got King David. You got the elect men, right? And going on down. And all Israel going to be brought back into the kingdom. They're going to be born through the elect seed because they got to go through that judgment, that punishment first. The righteous indignation because they fall after the ways of Esau, Edom. So therefore, Esau, Edom, they can't slip that judgment, right? But our people, that's why you got to give a warning on the highways and byways and doing lessons so you can turn back. Right? If not, your ass gonna be caught up in that indignation that the Most High gonna bring. Right? This is how he brought before. But this time the elect gonna be saved, man. And we're gonna get New Jerusalem. Right? This place gonna be destroyed. Over there gonna be destroyed. Right? In Israel, all that Israel, them fake phonies over there gonna be destroyed. Right? And Lord willing, how about Shah gonna rebuild the kingdom back up, as you read Isaiah 65:17 on down. We're gonna rebuild the kingdom back up, and we right back in New Jerusalem, man. Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? We gotta stay fast and understand, stay in these scriptures and keep confident and do the righteous works, man. Right? So, Lord willing, the lesson was edifying, right? And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole flesh star with the 144,000. Shalom.